Hi everyone! In this video I demonstrate my experience replacing the ignition coils and spark plugs in my 2015 Macan S. The ignition coils are the original ones, hence with 118,000 miles they are way overdue for replacement. The spark plugs are about 30,000 miles old. I'm taking this opportunity to replace everything with the high performance APR components. Thank you for watching and subscribe to the channel. Alright, so today we're installing the APR MS100252 ignition coils into my Macan, as well as the APR iridium spark plugs. These are supposed to be high performance spark plugs and the ignition coils. This specific ignition coil. Right, let's start with this, right? So the APR doesn't have an ignition coil specific to our 2015, 2016, and 2017 Porsche Macans. But through my investigation, the MS100252 is the same form factor and the same geometry, and the same specifications as the elder OEM ignition coil. I'll show you that in a minute. So I decided to do a fit test and tried it, and it worked very well actually. So I purchased the remaining 5 ignition coils and I'm going to install those today. All right, so this is the OEM elder ignition coil, and this is the APR ignition coil. As you can see, they're basically the same form factor. And if you see it here, this is same form factor. All right, so when you look at this here, like this, they're exactly the same. And as I said, I tested them, so I put an APR in one of the cylinders with an existing spark plug, and it worked very, very well. No issues whatsoever. So APRs are supposed to be high performer or higher performance ignition coils. I'm not sure how that's going to help performance, but let's see. We'll try them. All right, so these are the 2 spark plugs. They're new, right? So I have the OEM here, the double platinum Bosch 7432, and the APR iridium coil here. You can see the differences in the tip, hopefully here. All right, and here for the double platinum. You can see the insulator here, the white part, protrudes more on the double platinum Bosch spark plug than it does here. But the thread length is exactly the same, which is the important part. You don't want a spark plug that is longer Shorter is fine, but longer because it can impact the cylinder. All right. So let's see how it goes. All right. I find that easier if I remove the filter. Just remove the screws with a T25 torque. Then this slides up and the filter comes out. For these screws here you need an E10 socket. Only 2 screws. And then you unplug the harness here by pressing into the 3 tabs here. You press at the same time. Right, so this comes out like that, and then the third one is not part of this assembly, so you just unplug it. The third one is below this arm here, so we'll have to use an articulated extension to remove it, to remove the spark plug actually. So sometimes this is the most difficult to. Alright, so this stays here, right? So yeah, this is the Torx 30. Here under this. And I want to remove this without having to remove the arm. As you know, if you watch all my videos, I like simplicity. So I don't want to remove a lot of components when doing maintenance. So I'd rather get the necessary tools that will make the job easier than removing just a lot of stuff. Alright, so let's start with removing this one. I'm just using the screwdriver just to ensure that I have some a spacer here in between the engine and the ignition coil, so that I don't remove it in an odd way. I want to remove it straight. So as you can see, I'm only pulling with the hand. This is just a spacer. Alright. Makes the job easier as well if you do it that way. Alright. As mentioned before, this is a special 5/8 um, socket that has a rubber sleeve, which I cut shorter to adapt it to this spark plug. There are now magnetic sockets. I think that those are better. With those magnetic sockets, I ordered one, but I didn't arrive on time, so I'm going to use this one. Alright, so this is the this is a spark plug that I just took out. It has some carbon deposit. Never lose an opportunity to see inside. I have my borescope here, which I'm going to use to see the inside of the cylinder and see how it looks. It doesn't look that bad for 130,000 miles. Alright, new spark plug going in. This is really not difficult maintenance, anyone really can do this. The torque on spark plugs is, when new, is 25 Newton meters. If you remove them and then restore them, it's 30 Newton meters. Get this to 25 Newton meters. Alright, 25 Newton meters. Before you add you install the ignition coil, it's good to add a little bit of dielectric grease. It's important that on the top here, just so that the spark plug slides. It's important that you use dielectric grease because dielectric grease is non-conductive, so it's important that you only use dielectric grease for this application. And when you use dielectric grease, this should enter very easily. Right, the torque for the ignition coil screw is 10 Newton meters. I usually just tighten it up by hand, but just for the video's sake, I'm going to use the spec here. Alright, so this is done. cylinder. I found this wrench in my kit that is for spark plugs as well, and it's much better than the one I'm using. So going back to 25 Newton meters here. The electric greasing. Right. 10 Newton meters. Right. To remove the spark plug that is under the arm, the engine arm here, I use a swivel here with the socket attached. It needs to be in this position so you can maneuver it with an extension, right? So you go like this. Near to the socket so you can maneuver it. And then you go this way. And now you can take it out. Alright, so here we go. So always, let's take a look with the cylinder. And then to install it goes the same way. Right, 25 Newton meters is the torque. All right. All right, 10 Newton meters. We'll just reconnect the plugs until you hear a click for each of them. Right? And then just do until you hear a click. Right? And then you reinstall the two screws. Alright. So this screw should be at 10 Newton meters. Meters. All right. Yeah, once again I remove the filter. In case you have to remove this from here and then slide this off and then remove the filter. And the difference here is that you have this thing on the way, so we're going to loosen it up slightly. We're going to remove these two screws here and then we'll accommodate it so that we are we take it out of the way for this plug that sits here. Remove the two small screws first with the E10. Remember, this is an E10 screw. Right, so that's the screw here. Then same as earlier, we just press this and remove the plugs. Then let's see if we can now remove this. Since that this is a T30. Alright, now you can move this somehow. Take it from there. I'm going to try to do it from here, which I think is a better alternative. Yep. And I'll probably do this also. You can see here. I'll probably do this also with the spark plug as well. All right. Let's start with this one. Better if we remove the spark plug using the same principle here with these long, extremely long wrench adapter here. If you got this longer adapter. This is done. Five Newton meters. We have to put a little bit of the electric grease just so that it slides over the spark plug with no issues. New one going. Right, but 25 Newton meters. All right. It already has the electric grease. Alright, so now everything is in, so we'll put the connectors here until you hear a click. And then the third one, which is probably the most difficult one. Put the weight on here. Alright. Go in. Install the coolant reservoir. Alright. The two E10 screws here, otherwise it will not be complete. That's it, and the socket, it is 10 Newton meters. All right. We do install the filters. Pull this thing here. Right, the oil filter is installed. You put it in the same way you put it out. You took it out. All right. And now let's see if this engine turns on. After over 500 miles driven, the APR MS100252 ignition coils, in combination with the APR iridium spark plugs, are working extremely well in my 2015 Macan S. No loss of performance, although I can't gauge any gains in performance either. What I can say is that my Macan exhaust is burbling now like never before. It may be the relative position of the spark plug tip as compared with the OEM Bosch spark plug, but I do like the side effect. This is another great mode maintenance combination for my Macan. Thank you for watching and subscribe to the channel.